This episode is brought to you by Greenskies Analytics, an audit analytics service provider that works with internal audit departments that have data analysts and are still frustrated with trying to make analytics actually work, aren't getting the expected ROI, who can't break through the communication barrier between the analysts and the audit team, and those that need experienced direction for an audit analytics strategy and process. Those that feel like they've wasted time and money on trainings, aren't getting the value they want, not prioritizing the highest risk areas for the organizations, or have projects that seemingly never get completed. Do you deal with any of that? If you do, go to the show notes of this episode and click the Greenskies Analytics link, or go to greenskiesanalytics.com to schedule a call and understand how Greenskies Analytics makes analytics actually work for internal audit.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Audit Podcast. I'm your host, Trent Russell. Today on the show, we have Monica K. Royal. Monica runs Nerd Nourishment. She's also an audit analytics and AI consultant. She's a LinkedIn learner also, so you can go check out her trainings on LinkedIn. But the one thing that I definitely wanted to point you to was an article that she wrote recently. Some of you may be familiar with this if you are a not necessarily long-time listener, but maybe within the past 6-7 months of the show. Monica attends the Audit Analytics and AI conference that we host, and she does an amazing job of writing up and summarizing the bullet points, the action items, the good takeaways, all that kind of good stuff. And so once again, she has done that for the spring conference that we held a few weeks ago. And so similar to what we did in the fall, we took her very detailed, fantastic write-up, threw it into Notebook LM, and then kicked out an AI generated podcast. It's only about 11 minutes. If you want to skip ahead, I mean, it's all pretty tight and on point, but I'd say the first minute and a half, if you want to skip that, probably be okay. And that's when the AI voices jump in and actually start going through some of the takeaways and findings and things like that. So with that, here we go.
Keeping up in internal audit these days, it's like trying to catch, I don't know, like a cheetah or something, you know, especially with how fast data analytics and AI are changing everything.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking total game changers, right?
For sure.
So today we're going to really dig into this whole evolution thing at the Audit Analytics and AI Spring Mini Conference 2025. We've got Monica K. Royal's notes, and let me tell you, they are amazing.
Oh, they're gold.
Yeah, seriously, front row seat to everything important, all the big discussions, the insights, and you know what? Saves us a ton of time trying to dig through all that conference stuff ourselves.
Oh, just time saver.
So basically instant expertise, right?
Absolutely. Think of it as like a cheat sheet to what's hot right now in the field.
Yeah.
What really struck me going through Monica's notes was how much everyone was working together. You know, all those internal audit pros, all these different companies coming together, sharing real world stuff, how they're using audit and AI tech in their work. I mean, that's where the real value is, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No boring theories here, just real people doing real innovative projects every day. So what were the biggest takeaways, the things we absolutely need to know from this conference?
Okay, so let's start with the structure of audit analytics teams, right?
Right.
Valerie Ann Zappia from Victoria's Secret, she had some interesting numbers. She said, on average, about 10% of an audit team is doing analytics work.
10%, okay.
But of course, that changes a lot depending on what industry you're talking about.
Makes sense.
Like finance,
Yeah.
they're way ahead, super strict rules and all that. But retail, they're catching up. So think about where your own industry fits in that picture, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. More rules, more data crunching, I guess. But here's the big question. How do we actually know if all this analytics stuff is working? Are we really getting results?
Right. How do we measure effectiveness? Valerie actually talked about this, and it's tough, really tough.
Yeah.
Figuring out what effectiveness even means when you're talking analytics and then connecting that to your audit work. Complicated. Gartner did a survey back in 2022, and their top metrics were how many audits use analytics, 58%, and basically good stories from audit teams, 51%.
Okay.
The interesting thing is everyone's measuring things differently. There's no one agreed upon way to do it.
Yeah, sounds familiar. Always trying to prove our worth.
Right, exactly. So metrics aside, what are the biggest roadblocks to, really using audit analytics well? Valerie had some thoughts on this, and it seems like even Gen AI hasn't magically fixed everything.
Oh, magic bullet.
Nope. Generative AI brings up new security stuff, sure, but the basic problems are still there. Data quality, still a nightmare.
Ooh, tell me about it.
Valerie said auditors can spend like 80% of their time just cleaning up data before they can even analyze it.
80%. Yeah.
Then there's people resisting change. It's hard to get everyone on board with new tools, new ways of doing things, and of course, the skills gap. Do we have enough people who really understand both auditing and data analytics?
Right. The unicorn employee, the data-savvy auditor. It's tough. But hey, this conference wasn't all doom and gloom, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
We heard about some cool solutions, too.
Absolutely. Antonio T.U. Ramsey talked about doing continuous auditing using this thing called the CRISP-DM framework.
CRISP-DM. Now that sounds
Kind of technical.
Yeah.
So CRISP-DM stands for Cross-Industry Standard Process for Data Mining.
Okay.
Basically, it's like a roadmap for doing data analytics projects. Antonio said the best part is it's flexible. It doesn't matter what software you use, so anyone can use it, which is perfect for internal audit, right?
Right. We all use different systems.
His team actually used CRISP-DM to do continuous auditing and get super valuable insights for their business. Continuous auditing is all about real-time visibility, right?
Yeah. Sounds great in theory. But I can see management getting a little freaked out about being watched all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Antonio actually had this funny analogy. He said someone told him continuous assurance is like having a nosy neighbor, always watching, never sleeps, and ready to tattle before you've even finished your coffee.
I love it.
It's so funny, right? But Antonio had a smart way to get management on board.
Okay, how?
He called it the perfect storm.
Okay.
By this solid framework, CRISP-DM, a clear process, and he focused on a super high-risk area.
Smart.
So he had the method, the plan, and he targeted the biggest problem. And management loved it.
That's awesome. So it's not just about the fancy tech. It's about how you use it to solve real problems, right?
You got it.
What else did Antonio say?
A few things. Know when to collaborate, but also when to back off. Be able to sell your ideas, make them understand why it matters. And this one, I loved this. He said, document like you're leaving tomorrow.
Huh. That's good.
Right. As auditors, we live and breathe documentation, but this really hits home. Make it clear, make it simple, so anyone can understand it. Oh, and one more thing. He said, courage to learn is crucial for auditors.
Oh, yeah. With all this tech changing so fast, we got to keep learning.
Absolutely. And speaking of new tech, Microsoft Copilot was a hot topic at the conference.
Copilot, yeah.
Michael Monwuba from Microsoft talked about it, and it seems like a lot of people are buzzing about it.
For those of us who aren't like total tech wizards, what exactly is Copilot?
So Michael called it an intelligent assistant that works inside Microsoft 365. It's like having a super smart coworker who helps you with all the stuff you already do, but much faster.
Okay.
But he was clear. Copilot doesn't replace us, the auditors.
Oh, good.
It's there to help us, not replace us.
Okay. Phew.
He had this great analogy. Copilot is like a brand new staff auditor. You wouldn't just let them run wild, right?
No way.
You'd give them instructions, check their work, help them along. Same with Copilot. You got to tell it what to do and then carefully look over what it gives you. Don't just copy and paste.
Good advice. But security is a big deal, especially with AI and all our sensitive data. What did Michael say about how secure Copilot is?
That's a great question, and he definitely talked about it. So Copilot has different modes. Web mode, it's like other large language models. It uses info from the internet, but don't ever put any work stuff in there. Then there's work mode. This one is way more secure. It's tied into your company's Microsoft 365, so it's got all those security measures already in place. This means you can use it for emails at Outlook, summarizing Teams meetings, analyzing Excel stuff, and even making PowerPoint presentations, all safely. But here's the key. You're the pilot. Copilot is your co-pilot. You're in control, always checking what it does.
So web mode,
Yeah.
hands off any company info. Work mode, much safer for our stuff.
Got it. Now, Copilot is a big name, but Atanas Bosakov talked about another option.
Yeah.
Open source AI.
Open source, so not from a big company.
Right. He said that while AI is becoming essential, he said it's a necessary condition to compete.
Okay.
Just having AI isn't enough to stand out. You need to combine open source large language models, these LLMs, with your own company's data, the stuff that makes you unique.
Okay.
And the security. It could be better. You download the model and run it on your own systems, no internet needed, less risk of hackers and leaks. He even mentioned Olama, where you can find these models.
Interesting. So keeping our data safe and sound.
Yeah.
I like it.
He also thought this local processing might help with, what do they call them? AI hallucinations.
Hallucinations, like AI seeing things that aren't real.
Yeah, like making stuff up.
Wow, that's a little scary. But local control does sound safer. Now, we talked tech, but Monica's notes mentioned Daniel McCarville, the Benford's guru. talking about human creativity, right? Not really tech-focused.
Right. Daniel's talk reminded us that even with all this amazing AI, human creativity is still super important. He said we need to get better at using our creativity to get the most out of Gen AI because we haven't tapped its full potential yet.
I like that. So what's his definition of creativity?
He said it's when three things come together: deep expertise, novel thinking, and motivation. Expertise, understanding your stuff and the AI tools. Novel thinking, coming up with new ideas. And motivation, actually wanting to put those ideas into action.
So it's not enough to just know the tech stuff. You got to be imaginative and actually want to do something with it.
Exactly.
So what kind of work environment helps people be creative?
He had a few ideas. Give people freedom to do their work how they want. Encourage collaboration, real teamwork. Be okay with taking risks and learning from mistakes.
You're okay.
And reward people for innovation. Give them recognition when they come up with something new. He also talked about diverse teams. Different backgrounds, different experiences bring fresh ideas to the table.
Makes sense. Variety is the spice of life and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he even mentioned the DISC personality model, driven, inspiring, supportive, conscientious.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
He said it helps to understand those different personality styles to build a team that's really good at creative problem solving.
That's interesting, seeing how different personalities can work together to be more creative. So Monica mentioned Charles King from KPMG gave a presentation. Sounds like it was a bit different, more hands-on.
Yeah. It was a real demo, not just slides and talking. They actually built an AI agent right there in Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Wow, live demo.
It was a declarative agent, a specific type of AI agent. Monica said you need technical skills to build these things, but also creativity.
Oh, there's that word again.
You have to be able to imagine how the agent will work and what tasks it'll do.
So you're basically designing a little AI helper.
Exactly. And for anyone who wants to try this themselves, Monica said there are tutorials on YouTube.
Awesome, so we can all build our own AI army.
Right. And finally, to wrap things up, Monica had a whole list of Copilot use cases specifically for audit work. Sounds like the focus was on making those everyday tasks easier and faster.
Like having a little AI intern doing all the grunt work.
Pretty much. The beauty of it is that Copilot is right there in Microsoft 365, so it's easy to use for all sorts of audit stuff. The conference really showed that people are excited about using AI to be more efficient and find deeper insights in our data.
So putting it all together, what we're seeing is a total shift in how we do internal audit. More data analytics, more AI tools, both the big ones like Copilot and those open source options.
Definitely. But we can't forget the basics. Data quality, continuous learning, those are still super important. Technology's great, but we got to keep up with it.
Exactly. And what I loved about Monica's report was that it showed how much the internal audit community is all about sharing and innovating. People are experimenting, learning from each other, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Totally. And it makes you think, what about our own work? What can we re-examine? What can we do differently with AI and data analytics?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask ourselves. It's a whole new world out there, and we need to keep evolving.
And if you're ready to dive deeper, Monica K. Royal has a LinkedIn learning course, Building a Data-Driven
Sounds like
Audit.
a must-watch.
And she wants to hear from you. She's encouraging everyone to reach out to Trent Russell and share their own AI and analytics projects.
Love that. Sharing is caring, as they say.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. It's clear that AI and analytics are changing the game for internal audit, and it's only going to get more exciting from here on out.
It's a great time to be an auditor. That's
Couldn't
for
agree
sure.
more.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Audit Podcast. Whatever platform you're listening on right now, I'm sure there's a subscribe button somewhere, so please hit the subscribe button there. If you're listening through iTunes or Spotify, feel free to go give us that 5-star rating. It only took me about 16 seconds to give myself a 5-star review, and it really helps to get future guests to come on the show, so we'd really appreciate that. Lastly, be sure to check out the show notes and follow us on all our social media channels on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on TikTok. Also, if interested, please sign up for our weekly newsletter from the Audit Podcast. Thank you all. Have a great one.